Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. If you're new to the channel, I'm so pleased you're here. And if you're returning, welcome back. I'm here to talk about this increase of energy that you're experiencing, but also the chaos that it's bringing up. I did a check-in through my chakras to read the energy, and I'm already feeling so much better since doing that, and I'm going to share it with you. But first, I want to tell you that I just started memberships on the channel. I've included a link below in the description box on why. Just a whole lot of information on how it came up and what it means in terms of the shifts on the channel, which I know that you will feel on your end, especially if you've been following the channel for a while. I don't know what's coming, and I'm recording this before really officially launching, because obviously I talk about it in the video that I would have posted yesterday. And so I'm very much in limbo, but here we are. There's also a join button below the screen that you'll see. I was interrupted by some form of a download now, and I paused for a while to consider whether I'm going to go get into it, but I'm going to tell you because it's starting to block where I want to go with this video. But what came to me was, this feels like a turning point for the channel. And without getting into the details of this turning point with recent events that have affected all of us globally, whether it's in conversation or feeling or reaction, whatever that is, or our truth, something that's coming up is when you are at a turning point. These words it's like my lips are fighting them. When you are at a turning point, it can bring up a lot of different emotions, conflicting emotions within a person. Okay, because it essentially says things are going to work a different way. And so what happens is that the old ways that mentally and emotionally we are still used to and attached to, okay, can resist us parting with them, because they also have a whole lot of their own attachments that are linked to them, that are used to us being in those spaces. And so when you change your mind, and that's actually the main message, is that you're allowed to change your mind about anything. And I don't know why I'm saying this to you, but you're allowed to change your mind about anything. The turning point itself may not always feel comfortable. You will know it mentally that it is time to turn around and to change your direction, okay? You do not have to explain that to anybody, okay? The only person who needs to understand how it's going to feel on the other side and how it's going to, like your experience, the only person that matters when you're at that turning point is you, okay? It can bring up a lot of chaos. It can bring up a lot of doubt. It can bring up a lot of guilt. Okay. So what I'm actually saying is, the person that you were, let's call it yesterday, okay, that used to believe X, Y, Z. Okay. And I'm talking about any kind of belief. I'm not actually zoning in on any particular thing. Even if it's the way you did things, you are free to change the course that you're on, to change your direction. You are free. You are free. And that struggle that you have, that resistance, is only because the past timeline keeps wanting to pull you back. Okay. And that's because it is used to your energy. It is used to receiving what it receives from you. And so if you can manage that from a mental decision point of view, and a lot of the time what happens is that the hardest turning point is generally, it carries a sense of finality to it. By that, I mean, you can go through a whole lot of progressions throughout your spiritual journey, let's call it. As you grow, personal development, you can go through a whole lot of these graduations. You are the one who recognizes them. But there's that one that you've always known is there, that needs to happen. And when you have put in a lot of work on yourself, and you have done all your graduations, and almost some of them you flowed through, some of them a little bit tricky, but This turning point is the one that carries the most self-judgment. Okay? Those are the things that have stuck with you the longest and stuck with you the most. The things you've known need to dissolve. And so that's why it's difficult. It's not difficult because it's wrong. That's what I thought I'd share with you. As I said that, I saw 525 on the clock. It's as if there's this mirror, okay, and you're facing yourself in the mirror. And on either side, you have a 5 and a 5 representing change. They're also taking me to the Hierophant, which is talking about wisdom. And so essentially, this turning point is happening, okay? And 2 and 5 are 7s. So this is happening in divine timing. And so what happens is that you are at this turning point and you have a choice as to whether you're going to stay in the old timeline, okay? Or you're going to shift into the new one, okay? They both carry unknown, because the person who chooses the old timeline, okay, which is a level of comfort and it's a level of your appetite and this is not easy. It's giving me 5 of Wands. It's giving me internal struggle. It's giving me transformation. It's giving me internal struggle, okay? Tug of war. It's definitely giving me that. But basically, if you choose the old timeline, the old timeline actually doesn't exist, because the person that's going to settle in the old timeline has full awareness of the choice. And so the past one is an unknown. The difference with the future one is that the future one has more optimistic unknown, because it's pretty much the only real alternative, given that the past one is kind of losing its, its facade. It's lost its facade because it's been seen. Everything is stripped. You've seen everything you need to see. This is just a matter of acceptance. Just as I close that off, I can literally feel all this energy in my arms, especially in my arms, is like, I can feel my cells transforming. This download that I'm going to share with you is around this amount of energy that you're dealing with. You would have noticed, if this message is for you, you would have noticed a lot of fatigue in the last few days. You've got the awareness that this is an upgrade. I'm not saying it's easier because it's an upgrade. I'm just saying you have that in your awareness. The need to rest, a lot of mental activity, also increased emotional activity, reactions that will come up in the chakras. But what I'm here to explain to you is, when you're producing a lot of a new energy, okay, through your system, you become susceptible to surrounding systems that aren't used to or don't know how to produce their own energy. And they're drawing that same energy that they're used to drawing from you. But the difference is that they actually begin to draw even more because there's more availability. If you hear my stomach going, please try and overlook that, because otherwise I won't record. I have had so much bubbling in my tummy, okay? And I want to add about the behavior of these systems that are pulling on your energy, is that they do this consciously and unconsciously. That means that it's not necessarily energy vampire in the sense that now you want to label it energy vampire as if they are actively deciding to do that. Sometimes it's not a decision to do it. It's just a cycle that they're in. They're used to doing it. It's a means of survival. Okay? What it feels like and what it presents like is, it feels like destabilization. Okay? It's unsettled energy. It feels chaotic. Okay? So chaos. And it can also present as provocation. By that, I mean people provoking you. So now mentally you've decided that you stand in a certain place, you're in a certain place, and you're quite firm in your mindset, okay, which you've done a lot of work on. And so you've got hyper awareness on your mindset, and you've also got hyper awareness on threats to your mindset. So you're totally aware of all of that stuff. And so some of these energies actually provoke you, okay? And so you are highly intuitive, and so you can pick up when you're being provoked, even if it's not obvious, like to the average person. And the reason that these systems begin to provoke you is to get a reaction, because if they can get a reaction, it's almost like reaction and action. It's like karmic. So if they can get a reaction, that gives them more ability to act, because they actually, as long as your focus is on them, even if it's negative focus, they are channeling your energy from you. Okay, so it's like a means of getting attention from you, because they say, where your attention goes, energy flows. And so some of them will actually provoke you. So unlike when you are moving through your life and your routine and just minding your business and doing your thing, as soon as you kind of lock down, okay, you start locking down, you become aware, I need to lock down. You still got this energy that's growing. You've got increased amounts of energy. It's like these systems can smell it. It sounds terrible, but these systems can smell it. And so they begin to provoke you, to destabilize you, to be able to continue getting your energy, and not just that, to maximize on consumption, because it's as if they know the clock is ticking and it's the end, brother. And so I think it's important to note that when you close ranks, you're interrupting an active flow. And so especially, like, I find it's easiest to just deal with this through the lens of unconscious behavior, because once you start to tackle this on a conscious behavior level, you can kind of lose focus on the point and get sucked into people's behavior rather than things that even they don't know are going on, because those are important and they cover the conscious as well, is how I see it. So you're interrupting an active flow. And what happens is, it's kind of like it lands on the system, the other system, it kind of lands as a suffocation. Okay, can you imagine if you've been feeding someone fuel or food or whatever, you've been feeding them regularly, and so they're used to a certain like energy consumption level, and then you cut it off, or not even cut it off, they can sense when you start turning down the tap. They can sense it. It's like you're showering and someone starts reducing like the tap. It feels like that. You react. You're not aware that someone's hand is on the tap. You just react because you had so much water pressure on you and now it's dwindling. And so it sparks a reaction. Okay, so I think the main thing here is to become aware of why there's chaos. Okay, the chaos is not being generated from within you internally. Okay, there's actually nothing wrong with you. The thing is that so many things are going right with you and your mindset is in the right place. And this is the current reaction. I have 133169, and immediately those numbers told me that you are in the middle of like checking yourself, finding your balance. You kind of there, and once you're done with these checks, it's going to start moving. What I'm talking about is the results of what you've been doing, the results of this increased capacity to hold energy. I think that another thing that's worth pointing out at this point is that your energy is a resource. It's a resource. And especially when times are heated, is what they're saying, especially when times are heated, the demand for energy increases. Okay. So your system has naturally now upgraded its capacity to hold energy. And so what's happening, these systems are just, instead of learning how to stabilize their own systems and build their own energy systems, they are just trying to get it from wherever they used to get it. And so you don't actually need to worry about all of that. This is to bridge your awareness in terms of that and to balance these feelings of anxiety that you've been experiencing, if this is for you. And again, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a medical professional. any kind of professional. This is just how I read energy. 150551. These are mirroring numbers of fives, okay? And there's a version of you on either side. The numbers are numbering a lot. I haven't even taken screenshots because the energy is moving very quickly. But you are going to feel like a completely different person on the other side. I also wrote down here the need for grounding. So the first thing is to bring this all to your awareness, okay? And then the second step is to kind of like be more mindful about your grounding, okay? Because that's the only way you can counteract destabilization is through grounding. That is the process that you use, the tools that you use. I sit in the sun and I breathe, okay? I wear a big hat and I sit in the sun and I breathe, especially into my stomach. And then I breathe that air out and kind of that new energy replenishes the energy in my stomach, my solar plexus. Because this kind of destabilization can be very destabilizing. It can cause a lot of doubt. It can cause a lot of grief. And I think guilt, I mentioned all these things. But actually what that is that because you're intuitive and because you're an empath and because you pick up on other people's energies, all of their scarcity mindsets around energy, even though they're unconscious, are being mirrored back to you. So you actually like, even the some of the chatter that sneaks in, like the how am I going to survive without this? How am I going to? It's like this weird foreign mental chatter that does not belong in your mind. Okay, so it's foreign, but then what it does, it creates itself. It creates a feelings of like real doubt. And I think it's important to recognize that that's not yours. Okay. It can also make you feel like you're working against yourself. So I think that's the biggest thing is that you do not think anything is wrong with you. And so I'm hoping that now this is clarified in your awareness. This type of energy can also feel like it's going to last a long time. And since yesterday I've been seeing like, it feels like someone's pushing up a heavy cart that's loaded, a loaded heavy cart up a hill. So you're like pushing this thing uphill and like your muscles are activated, like your calf muscles, everything, because you're pushing upwards and it's hot, right? You're in the sun. But they're saying that you will soon be over the rise, okay? You've got the energy already mentally to actually get you over the rise. Once you're over the rise, you're going to be out of sight. And that's the main thing, is that you're going to be out of sight. You are almost at that summit. And so you just keep grounding, stay focused, allow your mind to filter out the things that don't belong, that you already know don't belong. And I believe that this is kind of like a feeling that could happen again, but this will be a different expansion when it happens in the future, because you're going to continue to expand. That's my stomach again. And this is all basically because when you suddenly go missing from a field that is accustomed to your energy and resonance, it signals chaos into the environment you're departing from. And so you can hear that chaos. In just closing this first part of this message, I want to say that the reason you're actually going through all of this, more like let's look at it from a much higher level now, not an experiential level, is because you're being fortified for this next stretch of your journey, this new season of your life. You need to be made aware of all of these things because you've got so much more energy than you're working with. I'm being told it feels like it's been tripled. It feels like it's been tripled. So usually maybe you add, I'm seeing like a bubble of energy that represents like how much energy you have. It's like this sort of non-tangible sort of bubble of energy. So what usually happens is that it increases by an inch, around the sphere kind of expands, let's say by an inch, and then it expands by an inch. And so you feel this, and sometimes it's gradual expansion. This is like you're dealing with much more than you had even a week ago, is what I'm hearing. And so that's why you feel so offbeat, so ungrounded. That's why there's like this mental fog you've been dealing with. Also a lapse in your system, like a lapse in timing, like you're lagging. Okay, you're lagging in terms of like someone says something to you and you hear them 5 seconds later. And then only then you process, because you're processing so much. You also feel like you're meant to be somewhere, and then you check your schedule and there's actually nowhere you need to be. So it's like, that's what's going on. I'm going to run through your chakras from base to crown. And I'm going to pull a tarot card for each one, representing advice. Okay. In your base chakra, in your root chakra, I saw this newly laid brick. Okay. Like a new foundation, but the mortar, the cement is still not yet dry. It's not dry yet. And so the paving, that's how it comes across. The paving is not ready to be walked on. So you got to wait for it to dry. You know that things will be better afterwards. You know that you needed to do like reflooring or repaving. So you needed to set this new foundation. It's just not ready for you to walk on it yet. And so just give that some time to settle. Okay. It's like a new slate. It's a new beginning. You've basically stripped your foundation and relaid it. And so it's inconvenient. Okay. It's inconvenient. And so you can't do the things that you usually do, but it's going to be better on the other side and everything's going to be fine. The card I've pulled there is the 7 of Cups, which actually represents like that sense of confusion. Also on the other side of that coin is options. And so while you might feel right now like you don't have options, they're saying actually what you've got is a lot of options coming up. And so that's just to shift your perspective on how your foundation is feeling right now. On the clock, I have 220666, which is like you actually, in terms of options, you've got way more options than you used to have as of this recent experience, an abundance of options. There's also a lot going on in your sacral chakra. What I saw is like this mixing bowl with like whether it's cookie dough or cake dough, whatever it is, and it's being whisked and beaten and round and round and round. But the result is actually things are going to be smoothing out. Okay. But part of that experience does mean that there are things in your energy, because the sacral chakra is where we're creating, right? It's where things are forming. New things, okay, new ideas, new experiences, new manifestations that could be in the form of people. And so what's happening, I'm actually hearing that this is drawing in people, okay? The truth of the matter is that some of the people you're drawing in are people you want, and some of the people you're drawing in are just getting stirred in because you are mixing and they are on the periphery. So they're also getting, it's almost like this whirlpool is, that stirring motion is bringing up everything into the mix. But they're also saying, the most stubborn energies, those are the ones you don't want. And I'm talking about anything here. You please apply this on micro level, on a macro level. This could be groups of people. This could be individuals that you've perhaps left in your past. Things are resurfacing, just things, okay? This is part of the chaos. They're saying that the more stubborn energies that literally do not fit your vibration and your frequency at this time will be easy to note. They're going to stand out. And so then you can actually pick those out of your nice, smooth mix. So the more you mix, the more you'll be able to tell exactly which ones those are. Things are already being mixed. And so that also that discomfort, that unknown of things changing creatively in your life, even in terms of your feelings, the things you're being drawn to, okay, the things you are being drawn to, have this in your awareness. This is all coming up. It's part of the clearing, okay? The card I've pulled up for this is the Empress, okay? The number 3 is giving me balance. The Empress is a major arcana card. It's a big deal card. Okay, so a lot of the stirring up is through the shift that you, in energy that you're exuding, essentially. There are people, places, and things that are coming in to attempt to collaborate with you. And it's actually the match in value that's going to determine whether it will work or not. And so this is how I see you sitting in your Empress mode. That is an abundance mindset. That is an abundant nature. Okay, so now it's becoming your nature to have this Empress energy, this ability to reproduce in and of yourself. Okay, settled, balanced, all of those things. And so this is like, I'm talking like the consistency of this dough that we're talking about stirring. And so everything that's coming into your system is actually being tested against your own consistency, your own sense of value. Okay, all of those things. She's also unwavering about matters of her own value, because the reason why she's able to produce fruits of value, find herself in places of value, is because she understands her own value. And so that's what's being stirred up and workshopped right now. And that's why you're experiencing some of these things. In your solar plexus, I saw sunshine. The weather was hot. It felt like it was actually presenting itself as weather. The weather was hot, partly cloudy. Okay, so it's not necessarily that you are needing to retreat as such, but this is the increased energy generation that's happening within the solar plexus. But also, it's got that humidity about it. And also in your heart chakra, I have river flow. And so it's as if it's giving me like very water cycle vibes. You know that weather when it's like I don't want to say hot box, but like where the weather is, it's hot, but it feels humid. It feels humid. It feels like that. And so I'm feeling like you're processing a lot of emotion. And when I move up to your throat chakra, these three chakras are kind of coming up at the same time. I saw a steel plate in your throat chakra. Okay, so it's as if like, number one, you're perceiving your voice as your voice, your expression, how you're coming across to your world is what I'm going to call it for now. You're perceiving it as perhaps harsh at times. You've got this mirror sense with your expression right now. It's as if the way you're expressing yourself is holding up a mirror to you. And so it's very triggering. It's very triggering. And the river flow in your heart is showing me this. It's like your heart is totally open. And that's why you're also so reactive to the things you say and the experiences you're experiencing from outside of you. And so you're in a very internally, emotionally reactive place. And they're just saying, allow that to be, allow that to settle, because a lot of these emotions are also there to teach you that you're allowed to have compassion on yourself, and that you're allowed to, all the stuff I said actually in the beginning, turning point download in the beginning, it feels like that. It feels like there's a lot that's being transformed and processed through your system, through your heart. And so allow it to stay open, because these shifts are happening. Okay, they're happening and you are moving forward. Even if it feels like you might be stuck in the mud for a little while, you are moving forward. And so feel how fast this energy is moving. And so they're saying everything is going to be fine. You're in a checking point of you're checking yourself. And so even when you say something, or even when someone else says something, because you're like between timelines, it's like it can immediately, from the present moment, it can flash you right back to the past in a moment, and you're already observing the past, and it's bringing up all those past things, and then you're immediately able to perceive the future, and then it's bringing up all timelines into one crashing moment. And so be patient with yourself. The cards I've pulled for these three chakras are the Knight of Pentacles for the solar plexus, the Judgment card for your heart chakra, and the Knight of Wands on your throat chakra. I'm noticing the Judgment card being a major arcana. That is major decisions taking place in your heart right now, okay? That is your magnetism. That is your sense of compassion, all the things that sit in the heart chakra. So your magnet, your emotion, your compassion. Compassion is coming up a lot. And so you're needing to weigh up a lot of things around what do I have to do for the world and what do I have to do for myself? That is what's coming up. And it's processing very quickly through your throat chakra, if you see that. That's very fast energy. And so this is actually all relating because I've got two knights here. And what this is all telling me is that your throat is being used. Okay, so the magnet of your heart is pulling through these, is manifesting these very fast and rapid moving lessons through your system. Okay, and almost pushing you. Okay, almost like you're being shoved off the edge of that cliff, okay, because you could have stood at that cliff for very long. And so a lot of these things are being mirrored back to you through your voice, your expression, and how you're showing up in the world. You're being accelerated, okay? But they're saying through the solar plexus and this Knight of Pentacles, even though this feels like it's lasting long, and, again, that cloggy energy that I spoke about, that, I said hot box, but I meant, that humidity, okay? So there's a lot of emotion that's also like, almost feels like it's inhibiting you from saying what you want to say, but your throat is moving faster than you can manage. And so all of this processing is actually being built to last. They're saying we're going through very fast upgrades right now because we have to manage this energy that's coming in, because we are not going to devalue ourselves as we evaluate how much energy we have and what we're going to do with it. We are going to make the right decisions at each and every turn. And to do that, we have to move very quickly. And so we're going to do it through you, come hell or high water. It's moving very quickly, okay? In your third eye, what I saw was, that volume up sign, that symbol for volume up, where you can actually see the volume increasing. What it was giving me was that your third eye chakra is giving more, that's your intuition. It's giving more volume in both ways. It's louder and like it can almost deafening. That kind of loudness. So hard to ignore, but it's also got more body. It's giving you more, it's coming in with its weight. And so you can sense the importance and the value of what you are perceiving through your intuition. You can sense it. It's very difficult to ignore. Okay, it's very difficult to ignore. And the volume up is almost giving me like this is a currently active process. The dial is being turned up, okay, on your intuition. What you're going to be picking up, the quality of what you're going to be picking up, all of that. But it's going to take time to adjust to the sound, because it's as if it feels like you've got a new leader working through you. Okay, what I mean by this is like this stuff that's taking place is not going to tolerate any of your old stuff. It's not going to tolerate any of your past behavior, because essentially when you do, and it's taking me back to that 525 we saw earlier in the reading, it's saying that when you do, when I talked about, even if you tried to stay comfortable in your old structure, it's with a different awareness. So it's not really what you were used to, because now it's like, it's not gaslighting yourself. It's almost like you would need to lie to yourself to continue the way you were. So you are being shoved off this cliff. Okay. And they're actually saying to reassure you that you are ready for this. You are ready for this. You are ready. What they've also added on to that is that your environment is ready. Your environment is ready as well. I'm busy laughing at this third eye chakra card that I pulled, the 8 of Pentacles. Can you imagine? Just picture that this is what's going on in your third eye. Picture that those are your, let's say, your spirit guides or your higher self, okay, busy knocking away at these pentacles non-stop to get you through this stage of your life, to kind of get you over this hump. That's what's going on, okay? They are busy. They are not stopping. And they almost, I want to call it like after, it's like workshop mode. It feels like that. I'm at your crown chakra now. And when I got to your crown chakra, they were placing a crown on your head. Okay. I actually saw the placing. So it wasn't just, I didn't just see a crown. I saw the placing of a crown. And I got the questions, like your questions were like, is this crown a costume? Is it part of a costume, or is it like authentic? Is it real? And so I'm sensing this dissonance between where you are and where you perceive yourself. Okay. This is very, not just mindset like, but it's very much talking about your role in society, in the world you live in, the world you work in, even on a spiritual realm. It feels like, you know, you're also asking yourself, do I really have to wear this? And behind you, they are pushing you forward. They are pushing you forward, and they are telling you, we are pushing you over the cliff. And we know you can hear us clearly. We are pushing you over the cliff because we've already checked your parachute, and we know that you know exactly how to hear us going forward. And so you know what to do. And we know that you're not going to just jump. So we're pushing you, and I know you can hear us clearly, and it's happening. It's happening. That's how it feels. And so it's a matter of getting used to this now. It's a matter of getting used to this. And it's very, where you're struggling is through matters of perception, through matters of how you perceive yourself, and through matters of how the world perceives you. You're in the process of reconciling these things, and they're saying, you'll settle. You'll settle. They're like nodding their heads like, yeah, okay. They kind of, it feels slightly harsh. I'm not going to lie. It feels slightly harsh. Like, it's just that, you know, like how a trainer treats, an athlete, like an Olympic athlete that they know can do it. And so obviously the Olympic athlete is the one that entered themselves into the Olympics. And so, everyone knows what we're here for. And now you're ready, but you're just struggling to understand how you got here, all those things. And so they're saying it'll balance out. You can do it. Like, this is what we came for, you know? It's like that. I almost forgot to pull a card for the crown chakra, and the card is the King of Wands, which is leadership. Okay. He's wearing a crown. And this gives me the sense, or rather confirms, that you are being led through this shift in mindset, this shift in self-concept being how you perceive yourself, and also a shift in how you perceive your world. That is, what is your world capable of? And so this is like a higher belief, increased understanding is what's coming through. And so you're being led through this. And again, they're saying, you'll adjust. It's moving very quickly, this energy. I must tell you, and I feel completely different to the way I felt before I sat down to check in with all of this. And so I am glad that I could share this information. I'm curious about what the next reading is going to be about because I am curious about it in the sense that I can feel its volume, let me put it, but I can't hear it clearly. I can't see it. No idea what's about. And so we remain curious. Thank you so much for being with me through this reading. I didn't want it to be almost 40 minutes, but I kind of knew because I had the whole download and I had the chakra check-in, and there was just a lot to move through. I also find myself on page 33 of my journal. I actually write, I've started taking my new journals and numbering every single page so that I don't lose track of all of my ideas that I get, because I never know how to find my way through old journals. So that's a tip. I found it somewhere on YouTube like 2 months ago. If you need any more information, you'll find it in the description box below. I know I owe 2 personal readings. If you're listening, they're coming to you this week. They were due end of last week, I believe. You'll know who you are. I appreciate all of you on the channel. I appreciate all of your energy. Sending you all so much love.